Hiya. We're in a sick bucket, apparently. In a simulator. Ever been in one? Apparently they're really, really nausea-inducing. But Harv's here is going to tell us all about it, because that's what he does. It's his idea. How cool's that?
Yeah.
Hello again.
and he doesn't want to be on video. We're taking the tape off his eyes.
So this came about as when we were talking in the last video about 2022 figures, and I looked at how we can reduce motorcycle casualties. And then one of our highest statistics is between 16 and 19-year-olds, where the traffic's moving past, by the way, I'm sorry about that. 16 to 19-year-olds. And I thought, how do they currently learn under the CBT process? So they may very often do 1-2 days, for instance, in a car park and then out with an instructor. And then they're out on the road and they're learning by experience, aren't they? And that's how most of us learn. And I looked at how we can change that. And there is no way currently of getting experience on a road without actually going out on the road. This was a way of doing something completely flip it on its head and throw somebody into situations that they're around moving traffic, things happen in front of them, cars change direction at the last second, don't see you, pull out in front of you on roundabouts, pull out in junctions. And it was a way of safely doing something where a young rider can start to see exactly what they're going to experience before they get out there.
Looks really cool, actually. It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can't believe no one's thought of it before.
No. So, what sort of bike have you got, and what have you got in front? I know the screens.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what's on the screens and how it all works?
Yeah. So it's a Honda CB500X. It's a real motorcycle, and if we took it off the platform, it would actually run. I was surprised when the company actually included a real motorcycle, because I actually only needed handlebars.
You're expecting a chair, weren't you?
Absolutely. Brakes, gears. But the whole thing actually works. So everything works as it would on a real motorcycle. Throttle, all the lights, etc., horn, everything works. The difference is I can change this to like an SH125cc twist and go, which will do 65 mile an hour. Or we get the geared model and go on this one. And so it's a way of changing, if the rider's not used to a geared motorcycle, we'll put it on or a twist and go and they can experience what's going on. It's very much, some of the feedback I've had, well, it doesn't really handle like a real motorcycle. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to simulate what a real motorcycle does. For instance, counter steering. You push left and the bike goes left. The company in Spain that made it for us, it's very difficult to try and translate what counter steering is. Their English is better than my Spanish. Mm-hmm. So trying to explain, if you push left, the bike will go left. So what we've done, the lower end speed stuff in and around town, where you are operating your handlebars to instigate a turn, that's what it's aimed at the moment for like the city and the town stuff. And it's designed to basically react to what you see on the street. Add into that as well a pair of retina reading glasses that we're going to use for teaching. So I can see on an iPad stood behind you exactly what you're looking at and how long you're looking at it for, and have you seen something before it starts to develop. So it's just a way of, it's another teaching tool. And I've always said you can't get enough training. The better you make yourself, the safer you're going to be, aren't you?
It is unbelievable, but it is completely false. You understand that, don't you? Because it's blue sky there. I mean, where's that come from? Surely you should have somebody stood at the front with a hose pipe.
I can make it rain. I can make it rain. So again, with this, you can change the lighting conditions. You can change how the bike handles. You can make it slippery under tyre. You can change it to dark. So if they've never ridden in the dark, because most people are going to go out and do their CBT in the light, they're not going to experience how far their headlights go, for instance. So this is a way of all of a sudden I can chuck in a dark or even sun glare. Wow. For motorcyclists, really dangerous. Yeah. But actually, this is your what would be your visor, isn't it? The one that we would like. I mean, this is as part of Project Apex is very much a trial at the moment. It's to see whether or not youngsters would engage and ride it, and also whether it is a viable training tool. the feedback we've had so far in 2 weeks has been, actually, if I'd had this after my CBT, prior to going out, it would have built my confidence. Young lady that's come in this morning while we're here at Damerels, she's fallen off and she got back on it. She didn't fall off this, but she's fallen off her own bike, bless her. She saw it on the BBC last night. She wanted to come in and just see whether or not she could get a bit of confidence up. So she's driven in this morning, she's ridden this, and she said, actually, I'm going to go home and get the bike out. It's just a way of building our confidence back up. So I think anything that helps us, and it doesn't necessarily need to be this, anything that helps us as riders.
This is an expensive bit of kit.
It is.
Which is probably going to stop a lot of people, like schools, investing in it. So the fact that you've got it, what's the plan for it? And
we're really lucky that in Devon and Cornwall we've been given the pilot to run for the national project. So Project Apex was created by National Highways. They had some money where they wanted to reduce motorcycle casualties. That was the whole aim. They wanted new and innovative ideas that haven't been tried yet, and this was one of them. And this was very much about let's test it, let's see if it will work, and that's why we're going to be taking it into colleges, for instance. So we have a load of colleges booked in Cornwall and some in Devon as well, and we're going to get the advantage at least until the end of June initially for it to be here and for Devon and Cornwall riders to experience it. It will then go on to do, we've got some national places booked. So we're going to the MotoGP, the Formula One, World Superbikes, British Superbike rounds. The more experienced rider, I know for a fact, will probably jump on it and say, it's not real, it's just odd. But actually, if you take that out and think to yourself, how would I have learned, when I learnt to ride, would this have been something that...
Well, they're doing this for cars, aren't they?
They are.
And it's just like, it's revolutionary, isn't it? We've suddenly gone, well, let's try it for a bike.
And do you know somebody said on social media last night, on some posts, and I was reading through them, it's something that somebody suggested was actually putting car drivers on this to give them a perspective of how bikers feel quite vulnerable. And I thought, what a great idea. That's not something I'd even considered when we did the project.
Well, a lot of people say it, don't they? And they say, but car drivers should ride a bike for a year. Well, it's never going to happen, is it? No. In the real world, it'll never happen. But if something like this was available, then it'd be something worth doing, I think.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would sign up to that.
Yeah. It's again, it's a way of experiencing something without putting yourself or any of the rest of us in danger, isn't it? Ultimately, and the beauty of this is, if you do something wrong, we can reset it, we can start again, we can pause it, we can talk about stuff that you might not have seen. You can't do that in real life. Don't get a chance to go back and do it again, do we?
I was talking to somebody outside, but we're at Damerels in Fradden. Thanks, Steve, for letting them come. They always look after us. But I was talking to somebody, he said, they probably keep the data of you riding on it. There's nothing like that, is it? Why would you even worry about something like that? No, it's not about that. And this for me is very much a part of an engagement tool as well. I would like it to break down barriers. We're not all about, as I said to you in our previous videos, I would like to help bikers stay safe. I like riding bikes myself in my own life, and I would like bikers to go out and enjoy their riding, do it responsibly, do it safely. And actually, if you get a bit of extra training, you might find you enjoy it even more because you're doing stuff. I think you would.
We don't keep any data, I can tell you that now.
That's
and any images aren't recorded in here. It's a lifetime camera that we've got on there that I can watch the rider's face to see where they're looking.
Their fear faces.
Once it's turned off, that's it. It's turned off. Nothing is saved.
So this has had a lot of publicity. It was on the BBC News, wasn't it? So here is your BAFTA.
Definitely not. But so both the guys that came from ITV and BBC this week had a ride of it. Both of them are car drivers, not motorcyclists, and both of them went away saying, actually, as a perspective of a car driver, of what you have to experience as a motorcyclist was invaluable.
Oh, so brilliant.
If even if it just does that, nothing else. It's for me, it's a bonus. I would like it. Riders to come and experience it, have a ride of it, see what they think. Some people find it nauseating because it's things moving around you and you're not actually moving. You do get used to riding it after a while, but the feedback is invaluable. If they think, actually, yeah, the bike needs to do this, or we need to have better hazards, or, you know, whatever it might be, or even, actually, no, I don't think it'll ever work.
That is a really crisp picture as well. When I came in, I was expecting to be sort of a little bit, you know...
Like Minecraft.
And that's,
So that is really, really clear.
if you think about our youngsters now are really tech savvy, aren't they?
Yeah.
They do far more stuff with mobile phones and things that I would ever imagine. This, they probably would say, well, it's not a PlayStation or it's not an Xbox or other gaming graphics, but actually to start learning about even road signs, for instance. Just, you know, you can drive along on this and you know, we can say, well, what was the last road sign you went past? And what does it mean? It's simple little things like that that we don't probably think about enough as riders or drivers. Road signs are there to help us, aren't they? Keep us
I think
along.
it's quite good that it's not aimed at looking like a console game,
No.
because it's got a very different mission, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the mission is about understanding where you are, what you're looking at, how you're riding, so
Yeah.
that you can see what you need to improve in yourself,
Yes.
regardless of what you're saying here.
Yep.
This is a game changer though, isn't it?
Well, everybody that gets on there, no matter how much training you've got, there'll be something that you get from here that you think, oh, I need to pay attention to that, because this is shown. And it's in really good detail, isn't it? Rather than, like you say, doing it on the road and it going wrong.
And even down to things like using mirrors, you'd be surprised at how many people I say, have you seen such and such in the mirror? Have you seen the red car? And then looked, because they're so focused on what's going on up here. And that very much happens in real life, doesn't it? We become target focused. You suddenly...
Well, we find, you know, with Rospo, when we're training, getting guys ready for this, so they ride with a car head on all the time. So they follow the car in front. They're not bothered about looking in their mirrors. And he's like, you know, every time something happens, you've got to check what's happening behind you, because we are vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, and the mate in his cage behind us hasn't seen you reacting to whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Once it clicks, it clicks.
Yeah.
It's getting it to click. This is invaluable, I think, for something like that.
Thank you.
But this is a game changer. I thought it was going to be like one of those, you know, you go on motorways and you pull in a motorway services, you know, and then you can go and ride on one of those bikes that are just. I thought that's
Like the wheeling machine with screens in it.
I thought it was going to be like that. To have a proper bike, I think is phenomenal. Yeah. I'm really pleased with it, man. You should be proud
Those
of
screens
it.
are really good, aren't they? And right in the corner, you've got your ring mirrors as well.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
My ambition would be, ultimately, if we could have one of these in every driver training centre in the UK, where you can go and experience it before you even get out on the road, or even if you're contemplating riding a motorcycle, is go and experience how it feels to have everything moving around you all of a sudden without actually doing anything. You might not have even thought about doing your CBT, but go and experience it and try it. And it's just, I think the more the technology comes on now, I mean, this is a starter for 10, and ultimately, if we can develop this into something even better. The one we looked at originally, it was too big for the truck, so this is very much a trial. The one we've looked at has 5 big screens that wrap around you.
Wow.
So and they're floor to ceiling. So you can do your shoulder checks, you can check to see cyclists and cars coming up on you. And we're throwing things like the hazards with a bus. You're on a bus stops, next thing somebody walks out in front of it. Now I've told you one of the hazards. Things dropped on a road surface from a truck, or a child running out with a ball. Anything can be replicated on it. So it's and again, we've just started working on that with the company. We can develop those hazards to become even more realistic and build into something. So, for instance, if you don't react to them, they get bigger and they actually become real. Then, and ultimately, if you don't move away from it, it will show you what happens.
Fantastic.
And like I say, you can reset it here. You can't do it in real life. So the control system, again, I can now monitor anything that happens, and it comes up with a map. So within that map is the grid that you would drive. That's just the city complex. We've also got motorway, dual carriageway, rural roads. So for instance, if you've never been on a motorway before, you haven't got a motorway in Cornwall, have you? Well, we've got one in Devon.
Yeah.
At the end of, big motorway. And if you've never been on a motorway as a youngster before, why not try it on here first and experience what it's like for stuff moving really quickly around you. And the faster you go, the further ahead you've got to look, and the quicker you've got to react. So
It's funny how people worry about motorways because they are quite safe places generally because everything's going in the same direction. It's like this is the frightening bit when you're in an urban environment, but it is valuable to get out and ride on a motorway, isn't it? Or a motorway of some sort. This would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm really excited.
Well, he's going to ride it then.
We'll have to rock paper scissors for that, mate.
Yeah, you've lost.
I've never been seasick, but I might be now.
all the bikers lean.
Yeah,
All the bikers lean,
feeling it, man.
and it's only set up for 8 degrees of lean at the moment. Now you've got used to riding it, what do you think?
I think it's fucking brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
I asked if you're filming because I knew I was going to swear. I'm going to get off it.
How do you feel getting off it?
What do you mean? How do I feel getting off it?
Yeah.
No. Honestly, not at all. That is a phenomenal experience. Obviously, the things we were talking about, the no weight on the steering wheel, is a little bit weird, but what I found interesting there is, you know, you talk about skids, you know, and how you have to counter steer against a skid. You automatically start doing it there, like, just because of that.
Yep.
But if you've never ridden a bike before, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then throw in everything that's happening up here. And if you look, there's not much traffic, there's not much pedestrians. We can increase that.
Yeah.
So the more you increase it, the more things start happening. You have to use mirrors, you have to look around. And it's more what goes on up here that's going to hurt you, rather than getting this 100% accurate at the moment. It's more about proving the concept of what we're trying to do is looking at what's happening up here.
Happy with that. Happy with that, mate. Oh, it's cracking. Cracking.
Thank you.
Cracking. If you see it at any of the colleges particularly, come and have a ride on it. Wag off your lessons for a bit. Come and have a ride on this. So, we like the video.
Yeah, where do they find out more information? Vision Zero?
Before I do that,
Yeah, Vision Zero Southwest. There is a motorcycle simulator page, dedicated motorcycle simulator page. Yeah, go on and have a look. It's touring several colleges throughout Devon and Cornwall before the end of May, and then it will be at both county shows, and then it goes on to some of the national events. We've got some air shows to do with it as well.
So do people need to book on, or do they just turn up?
No, just turn up, have a ride of it, and then what we're asking for is for the national project is to give us some evaluation and feedback on it. And it's very important that whoever rides it gives us some feedback, whether they think it needs changing, tweaking, change the screens or whatever it might be. It's actually, they become part of the help to develop this. You know, it's not about us developing it, it's about what riders really think.
love it, love it, love it. Love it. Thumbs up. You have to do your thumbs up now, mate. Subscribe, we'll see you in a bit.